Marasara! I'm so happy you're here. You're listening to the My Felt Story podcast, your place for Torah stories. From Avraham Avinu to Moshe Rabbeinu, we learn how to love and serve Hashem and how to be kind to our fellow friends. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. This is the story of Yosef Mokir Shabbos. Once upon a time, there was a man named Yosef. Yosef loved and honored Shabbos. Even though he was very poor and didn't have a lot of money, Yosef would set aside money each week to buy special things for Shabbos. The people in his town called him Yosef Mokir Shabbos, Yosef who loves and treasures Shabbos. Every time Reb Yosef received payment for his work, he would save some coins and put them into a special pouch. During the week, Reb Yosef and his family lived simply. They ate plain meals like bread and soup. This way they could buy the best things for Shabbos. On Friday morning, Yosef would count the coins inside the pouch and then set off for the marketplace. At the market, it was very noisy and busy. The market was filled with voices of buyers and sellers bargaining, as well as the smells of all kinds of food. First, Yosef went to the fish market. The fishmonger had rows of fish laid out in baskets. The fish gleamed in the sunlight, their scales shining silver and blue. Yosef looked carefully at each fish. He wanted the best fish for Shabbos. He gently picked one up and examined it. It was fresh and beautiful. This one will be perfect for Shabbos, he thought. Yosef paid the fishmonger with some of the coins from his pouch and put the fish into his basket. At the fig stand, Yosef chose the ones with bright shades of green and purple that looked round and juicy. Only the best will be good for Shabbos, thought Yosef. That was how Yosef honored and treasured Shabbos. When Yosef Mokir Shabbos came home from the marketplace carrying his basket of delicacies, his nose caught a whiff of freshly baked challah. Yosef breathed in the smell deeply into his nose as a smile spread on his face. Oh, how he loved the smell of challah. Inside his house there was much excitement. Yosef's wife smiles when she sees the special foods that Yosef has brought from the market. She takes the fish and carefully scrubs the scales. She cuts the fish open with a sharp knife and cleans the inside of it. Soon it's cooking over the fire and a new smell of Shabbos food fills their home. Yosef's children all help with the preparations. They sweep the floor and clean the house. One child spreads a clean tablecloth over the table and carefully sets out the cups, plates, and cutlery. Another child polishes the candlesticks until they gleam in the light. The whole house seems to hum with happiness as they prepare together to welcome Shabbos. The children each take turns bathing in warm water. They gently wash their faces, hands, and bodies until they smell fresh and clean. Then they dry off and put on their special Shabbos clothes. Finally, on Friday before sundown, the house is ready for Shabbos. The girls gather around to light the Shabbos candles. As they cover their eyes to say the bracha, the house is filled with the warm glow of the small flames as they flicker and dance with joy. Reb Yosef's face is radiant. Now it's Shabbos, the time that Yosef loves most from the whole week. It's a time for Hashem, a time of peace and joy. Every Friday, Yosef Mokir Shabbos and his family get ready together. Every week they welcome Shabbos. Yosef loves and treasures Shabbos, and his family does too. In the same city as Yosef lived a very wealthy man who was not very kind. The astrologers came to him and told him, "We have seen in the stars that all your money will fall into the hands of a Jew called Yosef." Astrologers look in the stars and try to tell the future. When the man heard this, He became very scared. He didn't want to lose all his money, so he sat down to figure out a way to make sure that wouldn't happen. After much thinking and brainstorming, he came up with a great idea. I will buy a precious stone with all my money, and I'll sew the stone into my hat. This will be the perfect plan, he thought happily. He went and bought a very expensive gem with all of his money and sewed it into his favorite hat. Now all my fortune is right here next to my head. There is no way Yosef the Jew can get it now, he thought smugly to himself. The man wore his hat every single day. When he went out on walks or to meet up with his friends, his hat stayed on his head. He felt good knowing all his money was safe next to him, right where he could feel it. But Hashem had another plan. One day, the wealthy Gentile was walking along the edge of a river when a very strong wind suddenly blew his hat right off his head. "My hat! My hat!" he cried as he watched his hat sail high into the sky and then splash right into the water. "Someone get my hat!" he cried. But it was too late. The hat sank lower and lower under the water until you couldn't see it anymore. He asked fishermen and swimmers to search the river, but there was no trace of the hat or the precious stone. It was gone. The man was very, very sad. He lost his hat with all of his money. At least Yosef the Jew won't get all my wealth, he thought. That thought somewhat cheered him up. Meanwhile, deep under the water, a big fish saw a shiny gem and thought it would be a tasty lunch. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. The gem went down into his belly. Later that week, on Friday, the fishermen went out as usual to catch fish. They rowed their wooden boat onto the water and threw a big fishing net into the air. While holding onto the rope, the net opened into a big circle before it splashed into the water. The metal weights at the bottom of the net helped it sink down into the water. After a few minutes, they felt some tugging on the rope. When they pulled the net up, they saw many wiggly silver fish caught in the net. They carefully placed each fish into baskets to take to the market. Then they rowed further into the water and cast their fishing net out again. This time, they let the rope sink deeper into the water. They waited some time until suddenly they felt a very strong pull. "Ooh, we have a big fish here! Come help me pull up the net," said one of the fishermen. As they tugged on the net, they had to use all their muscles. The net was very heavy. They pulled and pulled, wondering what would come out of the water. Finally, as they pulled the net out of the water, their mouths dropped open in surprise. It was the biggest fish they had ever seen. Whoa! Who would buy such a big fish? It was Friday, and most of the people had already finished shopping. The fishermen looked at each other and then said together, "Yosef Mokir Shabbos." Once they docked the boat by the side of the river, the fishermen took the big fish in a basket and walked right over to the house of Yosef Mokir Shabbos. From inside, they could hear joyous sounds of the family preparing for Shabbos. They knocked on the door. Reb Yosef opened it and was surprised to see 2 fishermen standing there. "How can I help you?" asked Reb Yosef. "Well, we were out fishing today and caught the most beautiful, largest fish we have ever seen. We thought you would like it for Shabbos, because you always buy the best and most beautiful things for Shabbos." Reb Yosef smiled. "Yes, I would love to buy this big fish in honor of Shabbos." Even though the price of the fish was very high, Yosef did not hesitate for a moment. He paid for it with the last coins from his pouch and handed it to the fisherman. The fisherman handed Reb Yosef the big fish. Reb Yosef's eyes lit up when he saw how big and beautiful the fish was. "What a beautiful fish for Shabbos," he thought. With a happy face and a joyful heart, Yosef brought the fish into the kitchen. First he washed it with water. Then he laid it on the table and took a sharp knife to scrape off the scales. As he opened the fish to clean it, he was met with a glimmer and a sparkle. He saw a huge stone sitting right inside the fish. Wow! What a surprise! What a gift! Thank you, Hashem! He took the stone and washed it. It shimmered and shined in the sunlight. Yosef put the stone aside in his special pouch. I'll take it to the market after Shabbos, he thought. Now I will get this fish ready for Shabbos. Yosef cooked the fish and made it ready for Shabbos. They brought in Shabbos with love and delight as always. After Shabbos, Yosef took the precious stone to the marketplace and sold it for a lot of money. Yosef was not poor anymore. He was now a wealthy man. Now Yosef was able to honor Shabbos even more. Every Friday, Yosef sent his servant to the marketplace. He told him to choose the finest fish and the most expensive cuts of meat. He chose sweet dates, figs, and nuts, as well as fragrant spices and fine wine for Kiddush. Yosef also gave a lot of tzedakah with his money. He remembered what it was like to be poor, and he wanted to help others honor Shabbos too. Yosef's table was now set with fine dishes, cups, and the best linen tablecloth. The delicacies cooking in the kitchen smelled delicious. The whole family was dressed in beautiful clothes to honor Shabbos. They lit the candles with joy in their hearts, and their bodies softened as the peace and warmth of Shabbos descended on their home. Later that week, an old man came to Yosef Mokir Shabbos and told him, "One who lends to Shabbos, Shabbos repays him back." Do you know what that means? Sometimes people spend money to make Shabbos beautiful. They buy special food, candles, and other things to honor the holy day. It may seem as though they are giving away their money, but Hashem sees how much they love Shabbos, and Hashem makes sure to repay them back in his own way and at the right time. Yosef spent his money to honor Shabbos, even when he was poor, and in the end, Hashem blessed him with even more than he had before. How does your family make Shabbos special? Do you have a beautiful tablecloth for Shabbos or special dishes? Does your mummy make delicious food? Do you wear beautiful Shabbos clothes in honor of Shabbos? Children, I have something exciting to tell you. I'm working on a new felt set. This one is going to be a Shabbos felt set, and I would love your help. You can help me by drawing a picture of Shabbos in your house, or use your imagination to show me how you would like Shabbos to look like in your house. Then you can send it to me so I can see your ideas. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'll put the details below. And that's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoyed the story. Sending you lots of love until next time.